Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio. We are here for Heretics versus Astralis. A little bit of a late start. Apologies for that. We had an exhausting series in the CIS side of things to start the day, which is why we've had a slow start here. But we are into it now, and it is Astralis getting off to a good start with Magisk finding the opening kill. My name is Hawker, joined by Dean. How are we doing, Dean?
We are doing good. I'm excited for this matchup because we've been covering every single Heretics game, I believe, so far here on this stream, obviously with Mitch some of the days, so you didn't catch them all. But they've been looking really impressive. I think Astralis might be a bit too much for them to handle, but I think that they can definitely give us at least a solid enough showing here on these maps, no matter whether it goes 2 or 3. But look at this right now. There's a good bit of damage actually being connected by those Heretics players. Unfortunately, not really connecting on any kills until it is eventually one that comes in from Maka. But with that, of course, the bomb site now falling to Astralis. The bomb will be planted. And Zipix being tagged up fairly heavily. Probably won't be re-peeking that player on short. Instead, drops down with his teammates. And that was perfectly played. They force it all really onto that one player in the spawn and then leave it left on Maka in the 1-on-4, which is quite difficult, especially when Magisk is just coming through hitting headshots. So there it is, Astralis picking up the opening pistol. One thing obviously we didn't get the note on was how the VO has gone down. So Dust2 here being the choice of Heretics. You then have Astralis coming in with an Inferno pick. And as a decider, if it's needed, if we get to that point, it would be Nuke. And I feel like this is probably the best way the VO could have gone down for Heretics, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think it's a nice veto for them. And again, you were talking about the form that Heretics have been in. In case anyone's missed it, these two teams are technically tied right now in terms of records. Both have got 3 wins and 1 loss. Both of them have only lost against Fnatic, and that includes some pretty decent wins for Heretics over teams like NIP. I think Complexity they've beaten, so they've had some good wins on the board. And seeing Dust2 here to start, this is a good chance for Heretics to try and prove themselves on this map pick. Maybe not in this round, though, because they've only bought a Zeus.
Not expecting much. They're very rocking that Zeus. They're really just going to hope that Astralis would maybe try and prod around middle a little bit in this round. Not going to happen. And with that, I mean, React and getting a little bit aggressive should be able to find themselves some info. The only issue is I doubt they'll really be able to get that flank on through long in time. As you can see already, that commitment is coming in, and they've even left Magisk to go ahead and actually hold for this flank. So he should be able to spot it quite easily once it comes in. Bomb about to be planted, and really the main goal right now for Heretics being to retrieve 1 or 2 kills. I mean, it's possible if they can get out, if they can overwhelm Magisk. He's likely just going to have to fall back off, because I don't think they really want to fight these pistols too heavily. I was going to say it would just give some chances for a couple of weapons to be taken out of play, and they go for a Zipix, actually ends up getting a team kill. So in the end, 2 casualties actually being suffered by Astralis. That's not too bad. I mean, only the very small investment onto the Zeus of $200.
Zipix gets the Impact Player Award of that round, even though he did 27 damage, because he got 2 kills and then the team kill. So the HUDs there, maybe picking a questionable player, but the 2 kills were still important at the end. Make sure that everyone stays alive, at least the players that were still alive and hadn't been team killed. And as we head into this next round, no AWP for Maka, which is a bit of a shame for Heretics, but they've got the rifles in play, and more importantly, Astralis' economy has been limited. They don't have too much money in the bank, so they've got to be careful here, Astralis, as they go for some quick mid-aggression.
Yeah, immediately re-smoking off the spawn and should be able to get themselves in towards this split. Nivira wants to try and challenge at the door before they can actually close in the distance, and he does unfortunately go straight down. Device deals with XMS on the back of the platform. And this round, unfortunately, being over already. In a 3-on-5, they're just not really going to be looking for that retake. It has been said so many times that I won't say it again, but you know why. And I mean, yeah, having these M4s in the next round, definitely the bigger kind of need for them at this point. Unfortunately, not having full loss bonus, so it won't really be enough for them to drop over either. So I think around the 3 saved M4s, they still may just have to pull out some pistols and more so focus on that round afterwards. And for the moment, Astralis, they do want to hunt this.
I was about to say, that's if they can even save these 3 rifles, which isn't guaranteed, especially because Lucky's already gone. Device lands another shot, and that is not what Heretics wanted at the end of this round. They get hunted down fully. Astralis giving no breathing room to their opponents early into this game. And I think Astralis so far in this tournament, they've generally been playing against pretty good opposition, but they're normally a good team at playing against these underdogs. They normally are pretty good at winning these sorts of games. This is something we were talking about in the pre-game, and right there, just giving no chance for Heretics to save their guns, continuing to put the pressure on the opponents and forcing Heretics into a weak bye here.
Yeah, and this is not the start that Heretics really would have been hoping here for on their own map choice. Getting aggressive around the edge of that smoke there, surprisingly. XMS does get one, and with the damage allows for Navira to go ahead and spam through and go ahead and finish off a player. So again, a little bit of damage being connected with, well, now 3 kills coming in. I was going to say only 2. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal, but yeah, considerable reinvestment already being forced into this next round. And with the bomb down, I mean, if Navira can get this fight against Xyp9x, if he can find that kill, then he'd have the ability to retrieve a weapon and play out the one-on-one, but Xyp9x ensures that's not going to happen. Finally qualms the threat of the pistols, and with that Astralis go up 4-0. But again, Heretics, they had very little investment, so they're not too upset about how that went. Now they come back onto the bye, and this is much better than the previous one, onto a double up setup as well.
Yeah, straight in with the 2 AWPs. I wouldn't mind Navera picking up a kit here. They only have 1 in play right now, but he's not going to do so. I am also interested to see how Maka performs against an AWPer and a team like Astralis and an AWPer like Device, because this may be a different style of AWPing that he's used to. He might just get out-positioned in some of these fights. It's Navera looking for the opening, though, at mid. He misses his shot, so Astralis get up into short safely, and Magisk has been able to take control of A long and force Heretics back. So this is a pretty nice start to the round for Astralis, as they're going to go for this A play.
Yeah, looking to commit. Maka's actually going to be sandwiched in, forces the fight against Magisk, and with that regains the long control at least now for them to work with when it does come down to that retake. Unfortunately, Dupree walks out mid, catches Navira coming off that B bomb site, and at this point realizes that most there is just one on the site itself, and then obviously a fairly long rotation needed by Maka back from long, so they're going to try and capitalize on it. XMS playing up close, not immediately being cleared, actually gets the second as well from it, and now it's only Device coming out to trade with the op, will find it, and now he has the one-on-one. A little bit of time at least being delayed for, so there is the op already posted up in towards the spawn. Device realizing that that could be an issue, flashes the cross, but it won't actually be effective and stop him from getting tagged down. So 44 health remaining, but with both players having ops, it may not be that big of a deal. The bomb now planted, and Device even giving himself the room to cross back over the tunnels.
He's planted up on that position as well, so he can see it pretty clearly from tunnels. As Device moves in, Maka's got some nades to work with. The smoke could be huge here because Device has the AWP. It would be pretty awkward for him to spam the smoke with the AWP right now. There is that smoke for the tunnels, and Device has got to get aggressive here. Maka with a molly on the back of the smoke. That could be it here. He's defusing. Device can't do anything about it. Device moving in, but he's not got the angle. He burns alive, and Maka, without the kit, somehow wins the clutch.
That was incredible. I'm sure most people were beginning to actually count about how low the time was getting, but yeah, once he put that smoke down with the molly in front of it, Device was screwed. There really wasn't nothing that he could do about that situation. I thought maybe he even might have just considered saving, realizing that there probably wasn't too much hope, but yeah, without the kit, I mean, there was a little bit. He just had to go forward, and the Molotov wasn't quite gone. It was a nice attempt, keeping the pressure on, at least dropping it to the one-on-one in the end. It was a good attempt by Device to pull it back to that position as well, of course. And the buy not being perfect from the CTs with that 1 MP9 in play, but Maka, based on that long spawn, peeks in, finds Device as well, who was looking to try and get the opening in favor of Astralis early in this round, and denies the long control this time around for Astralis. So they are going to be a little bit more limited, instead working their way over towards short, where there actually was a small bit of aggression in the beginning of the round. Lucky now just beginning to back away. Drops the Molotov, spots out that they have actually advanced forward, and at least done a small bit of damage to Dupree as well.
I'm loving what we're seeing early from Maka. Even though it's against Astralis, he's continuing to play his game, which has worked so well for him so far in this road to Rio. He's averaged a 1.37 rating, which is absurd. He's been such good form, especially against some really good opponents here. And Maka is going for more off the back of this smoke. Dupree has been spotted. That's a very tight angle for Maka, but he's able to get away with the cover of the smoke. Now that Astralis have spotted that AWP, though, they're starting to use some nades at mid, and they're starting to set up this mid to B.
Magisk actually catches Navira there towards the door. This gives them a big opening. Again, though, there is XMS in towards the car they have to deal with. Got 2 kills the previous time around that this B push came in. Unfortunately, not finding anything now, and actually had Lucky attempting to give him the assistance as well, and he goes immediately down. So suddenly it has dropped back into a position where Heretics have the disadvantage to try and claim the retake. Dupree, I don't think it's going to expect Kiyoshima to be coming in so quickly from the spawn. And indeed, despite quickly shifting his attention, he is still taken out before he can react. So a 2-on-2 now, definitely becoming winnable once again. Smoke makes things a little bit more complicated, and I think Kiyoshima's just gone ahead and called it with that, yeah. Backing away, Heretics realizing having only won that one round, their economy obviously still in a very, very shaky spot. And saving over these two weapons does help them out quite a bit, but I mean, 2900 still isn't really going to give them enough to get a proper buy. They can drop two weapons over to be one player then put onto a weaker weapon, I suppose, so it wouldn't be terrible. But when you're against Astralis, you really need everything that you can actually get to work with. Trying to see if they could salvage a small bit, I think. Yeah, there's the second up for Keo.
Gives them a bit more of an ability to get something going in this round. Nevera gets an AWP alongside Maka. They're going for the full force buy here, so I think one of the Heretics players might have a weaker weapon. Yeah, there's a FAMAS in there, but this double AWP setup we've seen before. They've gone to this in the past. And remember, Astralis' money is very, very vulnerable. Just one round win for Heretics could instantly cause issues for Astralis. So that's why Heretics are hanging on in here. They're sticking with these buys and hoping that they can come through with just that one round win that they're looking for. Nade from Lucky does a bit of damage, and he gets the headshot on the follow-up. Lucky looking for more as the fights ensue, but Zipex picks up the trade, and Heretics are going to back away from long.
Oh, Maka. He finds the head of Device, though, jumping up on the Xbox. That's a big find. And although you said Heretics have backed away from long, they still have one player up close on the car, and with Maka shifting back in, I was going to say they could definitely play off of each other. Dupree actually spotting Keo before Maka could peek out. Again, the trade's just continuously going back and forth and not really giving either team control properly of the round. But I do notice now that the bomb has actually been dropped over on long, so that's a massive issue. Astralis needing to retrieve that, of course. And Zipex, who's already out long, so he will be joined by Glaive. And I mean, a small bit of utility, a smoke and a Molotov. Shoulder peeking to see if they could bait out the off shot, and they do indeed, but Maka's not going to miss it. Zipex all alone, knows that first player is still towards the car now as the shot again rattles off. The smoke to try and close in the distance and force the one-on-one towards the bomb site. Actually does good damage to Nevera. 40 seconds remaining. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to count them out because it's Zipex, but it does seem like a very difficult spot to be in. He's actually forcing Nevera back a little bit more passive on the bomb site.
Oh, Mac is not missing today. 4 kills from him in this round. Like you were saying, very difficult against those two AWPs to get something going. And for what it's worth, I think it's worth keeping track of how Mac is doing in that battle against Device, because I think he's 3-0 against Device now in these early rounds, from what I've remembered. And I don't think Device has had an AWP in all those rounds, but just the fact he's out-positioning Device in some of these rounds is really good to see. Really promising signs for Heretics. And Astralis, their money is something we were talking about, and they've had to go for a bit of a dodgy force buy here. Only 1 AK in play for them.
Straight out B, a lot of damage done by XMS. He actually only gets 1 kill before going down, but Nevera lines them up at the op. A nice little collateral that definitely helps them out up against this weaker investment. But we do still see Device returning 1. A 1-on-3 at this point, his chances of winning the round still going to be relatively slim, but he's even gotten himself a smoke now, so that can let him cross over a molly towards the window, spots Keo. If Keo was to go forward, if he had fallen, at that point the 1-on-2 definitely would have been achievable. Nice little bit of damage though done on the cross. Honestly, I think his main goal right now is to try and at least take down a couple of these players with him. The Molotov, it's just been played really well right now by Heretics, if I'm being honest. They forced them back out into the open to allow the peak to come in. Secondary up being retrieved again. Astralis, they do have to go ahead and take an eco here for themselves. I don't really think we're going to see any investment at all. Can't even really afford to upgrade pistols, unfortunately. So we should see Heretics having the chance to actually take a clean round here. Of course, only surviving with 3 in that previous round, 2 before that. So they haven't really been building up any money.
And is indeed the full eco from Astralis. I mean, if there was any team that I would maybe give a chance on this sort of round, I guess it would maybe be Astralis if they've got something ridiculous up their sleeve, but I kind of doubt it. It's just the Glocks taking fights, which are not looking good for them. These are easy shots for the AWPs at range. Maka again getting aggressive, looking very comfortable right here on this map, as you would expect. And Heretics should be able to build up some bank from this round win. All in all, a pretty good start to this game from Heretics, and I'm glad that they've been able to stabilize early and build up some money here, get some round wins early on the board. Glaive looks for 1 kill, it's not going to come his way. Heretics survive with all 5.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking a little bit better for them. Having taken now 3 in a row, as I said, having the chance for a clean round, being able to actually do it as well, not losing a single player. That is ideal to build up a bit of money, especially if they want to keep rocking this double up, obviously, because it is a very hefty investment. But the buy is not perfect from Astralis. Magis willing to sacrifice down a little bit. Probably could have went for the AK if he wanted. Goes with the Galildo so that he can get full nades out. Ensures that they are going to have everything that they might need in this round for whatever approach they have in mind. Right now, nothing too crazy, though. Just playing out for the default. A couple players coming out through under. They'll probably look for, from the lower tunnels, probably look for short control for themselves. Maybe probe around mid a little bit, where Niveria is rocking the op right now. Not really looking to be too aggressively, though. Might off the back of the flash, actually. This could be a little bit dangerous if he doesn't realize they're already on Xbox. And, you know, flash came in. With that, he's definitely forced to retreat back to a little bit of a safer spot. At this point, a lot of pressure around mid. It's actually pulled a second player into the CT spawn.
Oh, Maka's getting aggressive at A long. He's been willing to take fights, and this time there's not a fight available to him because Astralis are playing it so safe. Astralis have gone for this default early in the round to maybe try and put some pressure on A short, but with Maka locking down A long, that might help this A site hold be a bit better. Kio's backed away. Lucky's also rotated onto Ace. They've got 2 rifles ready to try and stop this Astralis push.
Yeah, the execute, though, going to be coming in. Smoke down towards the corner to ensure any ops around that position will be very limited in what vision they can have. As we can see for now, though, there is just one player playing from the ramp, actually connecting quite a bit of damage there as well, I believe, before they eventually manage to drop towards the spawn. The kill stuff still actually so far being found overall by Astralis. Managing to actually go 2 for 1 in the trades, giving themselves the bomb plant, and if Niveria doesn't get this kill up close on short, then this retake is pretty much over for the CT side. Oh, Device is actually going to try and hunt and catches him just as he trades out to the pistol, I believe. And yeah, this is done. At this point, you need to save the op over, preferably for Maka. The M4 for XMS will be a nice help as well. They might have to drop over a little bit. Obviously, when you're getting 1400 in the next round, they could help out some players who otherwise would be a little bit low on utility. If Maka had gotten a quick kill for himself, then maybe there would have been some hope. But you can see even then XMS hasn't left that B-bomb site. So Astralis, they managed to bounce back with another gun round here for themselves. They put a stop to what was a 3-round win streak from Heretics. But as I said, with these weapons being saved, they won't really have any issues with the buy in this next round. It's more about now needing to immediately bounce back. Otherwise, again, we would see Astralis beginning to run away with some rounds.
And at the start of this game, it was a fairly heavy B-centric start, it felt like, from Astralis. They had quite a few rounds where they ended up on the B-bomb site, which worked sometimes, and occasionally they would end up losing. But now we're starting to see them go for some of these A plays later on into the half, which I'm glad they're going for, because they've kind of conditioned Heretics to have to be aware of that B site at the very least. And now they're going for some more standard A plays, which you can see there can be very, very effective. Kio was the only man trying to hold the site. Lucky was there attempting to assist him, but they lost those trades. And Niveria was thinking about fighting a mid, but after missing that first shot, he decides against it. Again, Astralis able to take short control. And it's a pretty similar setup from Heretics at the start of this round. Going back to this 2-on-2 setup, the double AWPs hoping to do some damage, but that leaves short wide open for the taking, and Astralis will happily take this map control.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time on the clock as well. That's ideal. That flash was perfect to let Niveria peek in. The Vice isn't having the greatest of time against these Heretics oppers as of yet. Mac has had a couple of duels up against them, as is Niveria now. Setting themselves up still, of course, with that short control. Despite having the man disadvantage, it's not the worst position, because they do, again, have that execute in mind, as we've seen in the previous round as well. This time, though, looking to try and recover it from the 4-on-5 might be a little bit more difficult. There is an up towards the corner. This time, the smoke not going down to block off the view either. So Maka was given a small opportunity to try and extend that advantage. Didn't quite connect. The Molotov, though, does some towards Magic. It's not really too substantial. It did at least delay the bomb plant as well. That's kind of the biggest thing. Lucky manages to find one, I believe, from the CT spawn. It was the pre who went down, and yeah, this is not looking too good for Astralis. Heretics have a great spot for the retake. You can see Astralis with that need to take that fight a little bit more aggressively to pull it back in their favor. Not working out too well, as a 1-for-1 is not ideal from this position. Zipix does have the flank, which hasn't been spotted. It allows for one kill to be found, but again, it is all on one man. Glaive left alone, gets 2. Spots the final player as well, not quite able to find the kill, though. It's Maka who comes out clutch. That was a lot closer than I think Heretics would have wanted there in the end. Main thing being, they do take the round.
Yeah, especially after Nivera landed that shot onto Zipex, because Zipex was hoping he could get both those kills on the flank, but Nivera landed a great shot onto the player flanking through CT, and then it was a really good effort from Glaive. He did what he could, but Maka was able to switch out to the rifle, just about win the round, and again, Heretics are hanging on in there. 5-6 scoreline right now, looking pretty solid at the start of their map pick. Device is back to this AWP, but you were saying previously, we haven't really seen much success from Device with this AWP. Let's see if that's about to change, though, as he's going to challenge mid aggressively. They're respecting it, though.
We might actually see them follow up with aggression. Yeah, Keo has walked in and I don't believe has been spotted. The timing for Zipix a little bit unfortunate. I highly doubt he's going to expect this player to be up so close, and indeed, beginning to actually fade away from that spot right now, maybe not expecting the aggression to come in. As we can see, obviously, Astralis are focused around mid at the moment, just trying to see if they can creep that up out, potentially catch someone peeking around this area. Lucky actually will go ahead of that smoke towards the CT spawn, doesn't get a kill, but does chip away at a few of those players to make it a little bit easier once that split actually comes in from Astralis, if that is the goal. But eventually, as I had said, Kiyoshima with that long aggression is able to pounce unexpectedly, takes down Glaive, and at that point I think Astralis were feeling a little bit forced to maybe commit the mid. They do begin to back off now and try and bring it up towards short, but look at this, Kiyoshima is still sticking around. Doesn't really do anything this time, but it's just been a massive distraction. I mean, he's such a nuisance at this point. He lets Nivera even pop out and get one. And this is just rumbling for Astralis. Maka gets 2 on short.
Yeah, so well done from Keo, like you said, just to survive there. I think some players might try and go for multiple kills on that first time he pulled the trigger, but Keo knows if he just stays alive, he's going to be such a pain for Astralis. He knows that the T's are going to be very, very uncomfortable with a player behind them, and Heretics can make the most of it with a crossfire, with players peeking through the mid doors, and with Keo fighting from T spawn. It just makes it so difficult for Astralis. They try and run back and clear out Keo, but it doesn't happen for them. Heretics get all the kills they were looking for, and we are all tied up with Astralis having to go for another weak buy here. Their loss bonus is built up, so we should see a few pistols at the very least, but not much in terms of utility. It's basically just the pistols bought by the Danes in this round.
This is actually very competitive from Heretics so far here on the CT side. Again, reminder, they were down 4-0 at one point. We actually see Astralis have a very strong start for themselves, and we likely will see Heretics claiming the lead. That's the open and wallbang headshot through the corner of the door yet again from Nivera. This time not up against the same kind of level of weaponry, so you're not expecting a lot from Astralis. Ideally, though, they do want to get a few kills and keep this economy in the weak position that they currently do have it for Heretics, because losing one would, of course, completely ruin them. Magisk has made his way past that Molotov. Definitely being hurt, though, by Lucky, who's up close, so I don't think he's really going to be catching anyone off guard, although he has creeped up a little bit closer than they may expect. Lucky, though, going to deal with it. Nade to follow up as well. That should tag up 2 players quite heavily. Molly immediately down as well. Actually gets a kill. There we go. Perfect.
Device went jumping away and his body went limp in midair as he got burned
Great
alive.
view as well for...
I know.
Shout out Jakey, I believe we have today. Yeah, it is indeed.
Very nice having Observer Jakey helping us out. Helping us make sure we see all the action. And so far, Heretics have been giving us a lot of that action. They're about to take the lead unless something crazy happens. Lucky about to peek mid. Okay, doesn't land the shots, but eventually connects. And Zipex will also hit the deck. 7-6 lead for Heretics. Good start for them on Dust2. I think they've now proven they are at least going to be competitive against Astralis on this map, which I think was the first step we needed to see. And now it's just a case of how far can they go? How far can they keep on going with this playstyle? Because so far, it doesn't feel like Astralis have been making many mistakes tactically. It's just been Heretics getting the reads in most of these rounds and playing really well.
Yeah, it really has been. I'm not seeing anything necessarily bad from the boys on Astralis. Device, I think, did spot one player up close to the mid doors right there. Interesting smoke, though, down it. Only really give him the ability to see the legs, of course, but stops him from being spotted. So that kind of is the goal right there. I think the other way around, it's from the CT side, obviously. But right now, anyway, Astralis not really getting any early picks, but they do seem to have a plan set in stone, and that's the commit in towards B. Are they going to clear this close corner? XMS actually not able to get the initial double spray down, only the one. Nivera helped them out. The issue is now he's lost Nivera and ends up eventually dropping the Glaive as well in that corner. Lucky given at least some time to rotate in because of the 2 kills that they were able to find. But the nades that have come back in from the D side as well, likely to lock them out of the bomb site for the moment. But they're taking their time. They aren't really sure if anyone could have pushed through.
And they don't have much utility left on the Astralis side. They're waiting for the flank though. Device pounces in the back lines, and now Heretics have got to be looking both directions. This is not the best case scenario for them. Astralis grouping up for the B site play. Lucky's got this angle though. Still no nades for the cross, so Lucky could do the damage, but Zipex gets the kill, and Keo gets his head ripped clean off. Good shot from Glaive, and Astralis just about get the round win there. Good work on the B site play.
Yeah, really good work there to slow that down. They had no idea that Device was on that flank. And a 7th for Astralis, but I mean, still a pretty strong half here from Heretics so far, especially if they can actually manage to add this one last round, put it up to 8, give themselves a little bit of security, especially in the case of losing the pistol, which they did, of course, have happened to them here in this half, so that makes it even more impressive that they've got it into this position. But yeah, overall, this buy does certainly have some weaknesses. No kit in play either, unfortunately, so if the bomb does get planted, retakes are going to be that little bit extra tougher for them. Maka wants to, I think, take a fairly aggressive angle here. Smoke going down, so he's not really going to be able to do a lot about finding any picks immediately, although, hang on, there is a little bit of a gap. This is risky. There's 2 players posted on this, at least finds 1, but that's going to prompt Astralis to go forward, leaving just XMS to try and hold it down. Through the smoke gets 1 and actually decides to trade places. They're hugging, they're kissing, anything but shooting apparently. XMS eventually will fulfill what I wanted and go ahead and pick up a couple of headshots. Device all alone.
Ooh, well, XMS has finally been dealt with, but he's caused way too much chaos for Astralis in this round. I think Astralis were just not expecting him to be in the smoke there. They were expecting the social distancing to come through, but no, he got in the smoke, he got right up in their faces. And now Device, yeah, he's got to land some shots. Device has to be ballsy here as well with the push, and it's not going to pay off for him. Nivera closes out the half, and Heretics do really well to come away with this half lead. 8-7 at the half for them. Great comeback. We'll see if they can continue it in the second half after a quick break.
Type to never let you double cross them. Moving through the city like it's Gotham. They told me get one, so I got one. Stop saying you're a boss when you not one. You ain't sacrificed, nah, you ain't lost none. All over the gram like you got a bag. You ain't big dog, we ain't hearing none of that. I'm in the gym looking like a running back. And you know the flow, got them coming back. Who I was in the past, I'm unattached. Only focus in this moment is bringing
Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to the ESL 1 Road to Rio. Heretics really proved they can hang in the first half there. They've been one of the surprise packages of this tournament so far. We'll see if they can continue that into the second half as we get into this pistol.
Yeah, not really going to be taking their time at all with this round, trying to go straight on towards B. It was actually the bomb that was leading the way. It drops immediately. We're seeing already a good few players for the CT side rotated in. It's actually Zippix who's the last line of defense, but only Kiyoshima remaining on the side of Heretics. That was a bit of an awkward battle. Eventually winning it out. Puts the smoke down. That could hold off that player for a little while who's around the mid area. He's not really going to be looking to peek in himself because he does also have the Vice now beginning to flank back from tunnels. So they have a good setup. They might wait for perhaps the bomb to be planted and see if it's going to be stuck or not at that point. Try and move in together. And yeah, not really going to be budging off that first one. So the bomb will at least be planted. That's a big positive for Keo. The timing is so unfortunate. Just as he moved his crosshair away was when the Vice actually peeked into that angle. So yeah, the defuse easily going to be found in Astralis. They pick up that second pistol. That's quite important for them considering they went up 4-0 in the first half. And then we still see in Heretics being able to recover that CT side into a very good position.
Team ace for Astralis as well. Everyone gets 1 kill each, which I feel like is the most Astralis way to win a round. But with that bomb plant, that was saved to some extent by Heretics there. They did a pretty good job at salvaging something out of that round, at least getting it to a somewhat winnable position and giving them the options into this second round to perhaps invest into some pistols. They could even go for the force buy if they were really feeling it, but I think they're just going to take a very conservative approach here. Only 2 P250s bought into this round, so Heretics are very much focusing on the next gun round rather than trying to do damage in this one.
I agree with it. When you're against a team like Astralis, you probably want to get the best buyout that you can think of. Then again, there's also the thing of you kind of want to also break their economy early on in the half, but they were able to do it. They're back on their CT side where they went down 4-0 and still managed to recover. So I think they believe in themselves once they have the full buy-in. And yeah, as you said, really nothing in this round at all. A relatively safe buy as well, though, from Astralis, only pulling out the 2 SMGs. That's normally the most I really want to see, just to make sure that the money is actually able to be retrieved by them. Obviously, if you have loads of SMGs, there's not really enough kills to go around. Keep it too worthwhile.
I'm also assuming that Keo, for example, is saving his money maybe to make sure they get that AWP into the first gun round, because having that AWP in Maka's hands was a big part of their success. So that probably makes some sense as well, why Keo has bought literally nothing, even though he's got a ton of money. And Astralis here playing at close range. The MP9 should be shredding them. Glaive in the back lines is here to help if necessary. But it's the MP9s elsewhere that are likely cleaning up this round. Keo with a Glock is going to go down. So good stuff from Astralis, but here comes this strong buy from Heretics.
Ideally, don't want to be getting off to as slow of a start, though, as they did on that first half, because you're not going to be winning against a team like Astralis if that's what's happening to you on both halves. So this is where we really want to see them pick it up. And yeah, as you said, Maka on the op is always so important, but I don't want to count out Navira, because this man has been incredible for them as well. In, as you said, recent times, the form of Heretics has been really strong, and it's been Maka and Navira who've been doing a lot of that. And then obviously Kiyoshima, XMS, and Lucky always having their moments as well, but Maka and Navira the most consistent ones towards the top of the scoreboard, which is what we're seeing right now. Long control, though, will be found for the T side early on. Astralis not really looking to contest it. They actually stacked up around mid. Just putting that one player on short. So they were hoping that it was just going to be more of a standard default, I guess, from the T side, looking for the short control and such, and then they could have aggressed out through mid and also through short at the same time, maybe caught them. We will see them at least getting some good info by getting aggressive up through the lower tunnel, so that'll let them react quite quickly.
Options available for Heretics with this A long control. They are looking to sneak up to the A-bomb site. They've got a couple of smokes for the cross as well. Maka will be holding back, maybe just waiting for the post plant. as Heretics finally deploy one of their smokes. Second one will go on the far side, and they will look to cross their way onto this A-bomb site. Shots being rattled off by Astralis, a bit of damage done through the smoke. The device is still here with the scouts, not the AWP, so got to be a bit careful of that. They have been slowed down by the counter nades, but it's looking good for Heretics to get that bomb planted until this utility just keeps on coming, and Astralis still have a couple more mollies they could throw onto this site.
Yeah, getting them ready. There's one from Magisk, and Nade potentially to follow it up as well. He's going to save it for now. He's like, okay, I'll leave that molly down when they eventually move on to put the bomb in place. I'll toss the nade in. And yeah, that is the hope. I think it's going to be a little bit too early. Another one going over onto the ramp. That one does some pretty decent damage, I do believe. Not able to quite catch it, my hood, not showing it when we're in that one, but yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good work by Heretics to eventually get that bomb planted. It's just Astralis have all 5 players now ready on short, but with 2 MP9s, it is going to be tough for them to close in this distance, so those weapons can actually be effective. See the smoke going down towards the spawn now, giving some room for them to begin to push forward, and it's actually Glaive to find that open, and Magisk takes out Navira over towards the car as well. And this is just falling apart right now for Heretics. Maka doing what he can to recover, but it's not going to be enough. Kiyoshima left alone. There's one from him, but unfortunately with the bomb just being planted in behind the box, there's really not much he can do from long, other than try and fight to stay alive, which looks like he has been successful with. So the 1 AK being carried over, that's a positive, but Astralis, they get that opening gun round and increase the lead up 10-8.
Yeah, those Molotovs were so brutal for Heretics because it just meant that any utility that Heretics might have been able to use to get the bomb down in the open was basically gone by the time they actually planted the bomb. So they had to plant safe. Maka couldn't just stick at A long with the AWP, which was probably the idea of how he wanted to play the post plant, but instead he had to end up committing to Car, which wasn't as comfortable. And there's the peek down mid. Device gets a good start to this round. Not going to hang around for any longer though. He is backing away with the man advantage. Clean in favor of Astralis in this round. That's a good start for the Danes once again.
Yeah, indeed. Most likely, we will see them actually managing to start off both halves 4-0. So that makes it quite impressive that we did see such a strong CT side from Heretics, but I mean, falling a little flat so far here on their T side. I do hope we'll see them manage to take it up a little bit because it was looking to be very competitive. But yeah, with that opening kill, as you said, as well being found here for Astralis, it's just not looking good. Another smoke here to hold them off for what looks like is looking to be long control from the T side. And indeed, a flash comes out, another smoke, I would imagine, to be thrown down. There we go. Just about in time as Kiyoshima got ready to move forward. And that's forced them to reconsider what exactly they want to do with this round. They do have short there with 1 player pushed up. That's lucky. So they could wrap it back around if they wanted to commit up through short. But I think, again, just waiting for the smoke to run out. But they're going to have to deal with 2 players on long before they can actually start moving up towards that bomb site. And the time is not fantastic, so they're going to need to find these openings quite quickly. And Device, I mean, with the off, he's the first line of contact. The flash does blind him, but he just waits, gets the time, and Zipix drops the bomb. Device will fall as he swings back in. Kio's doing what he can to recover this round, and that's 2 kills on long. But now he needs Lucky to find success so they can bring that bomb up, and even then crossing is going to be an effort. But with 2 smokes, if they put these down, they actually should have a good opportunity right now in this 2-on-2.
Where's Kio? Oh, he's so slow. 1 smoke, 2 smokes, but he crosses before it. Damage done, but not the kill. The nade might be it, though. 8 health left on Kio. Has he got time? Has he got time? No! Astralis win on time. The kill comes in after the round is already over. Astralis just about get the round win. Kio was sitting over at A long looking for something for a bit too long there. I think it cost him a couple of seconds. And Heretics take their first tactical timeout after they come so close to success on their T side for their first round win. It doesn't come through for them. That's got to be a shame, but they've got to get their heads back in the game because they've still got guns.
And without that bomb plant, their buy is not looking good. There's 3 Galils in it, unfortunately, which is obviously not what you want against a team like Astralis. You need to be getting those instant headshots, really, with the Galil needing 2. Double up setup in play from Astralis as well. Neither team really has any money built up, so it's still a spot where Heretics definitely could manage to actually bounce back immediately by just taking 1 round. And at that point, putting Astralis potentially onto a double eco, which would mean they'd likely force. So we could see a few rounds being pulled back by Heretics off the back of winning even this one here. So it's not quite over yet for them, but this one is just so important, especially since they have fully invested. I think just looking for a kind of standard control around mid. This flash being set up by Kio to allow those lower tunnels players to peek in. Make sure that anyone aggressing up through short from the CT side won't really be able to find any early openings. Wasn't the case though. A little bit more chill from Astralis. They just have Device posted up on mid.
Ooh, Device was looking for this angle under the smoke. It's going to be a very hard shot to land though, and he doesn't get the chance to even pull the trigger. CFX with this nade. This could be well timed. Flash comes into his face. He's waiting patiently, but the nade goes a bit too soon. Heretics will now start to take that short control pretty safely, but Device is posted up on this angle and Keo's about to cross. He might be in trouble. No, never mind. Keo is the man to get the kill. Fantastic shot from Keo to open up this round, and Heretics have got the early advantage.
Yeah, they even flashed Dupree back off that angle initially. The smoke's being down as well, allowing for them to cross without being spotted. So a lot of ground being covered by Heretics, giving them the bomb plant now. The man disadvantage, as you said, for Astralis with the economy that I had pointed out towards the beginning of this round, it most likely does mean that they may just have to call for the save. It looks like they're sticking around a little bit. I mean, Glaive had backed off over towards B for a moment, but they are overall sticking in positions that in their current positions. Then maybe they want to try and get a couple exits, do some damage. But I think overall needing to save these 4 weapons for sure. And he looks kind of willing to hunt this one, which is surprising. I guess not really caring too much about losing his Galil, but he also has a lot of utility. Yeah, not going any further than just lower tunnels. Just kind of waiting here to see if anyone had come to him instead. So Astralis, they will live with 4, most likely, unless someone goes CT spawn. Oh, they're going to B though. Glaive could be in trouble.
Glaive with the AWP. Needs to be careful. Oh, I thought he landed the shot for a second,
As
but
did
it was
I.
Magist who got the kill. We're all good. Heretics also upgraded to that M4 that was dropped, so that's nice for them. But I think they lost one of their AKs at the end there because XMS has had to rebuy the AK, so that's a bit of a shame. Still though, Astralis stick with the 2 AWPs, and with only 1 kill needed to be the MVP of the round, Kiyoshima gets it. Device currently has a UMP in hand. Even though they've got the double AWPs on some of the other players, we might just see him stick with the SMG here. This will be interesting.
I mean,
I'd expect them to give him the AWP.
it could be based off of maybe spawns at the moment. No, Dupree is like in the middle of the
Yeah,
pack,
no,
so I
he's-
doubt he's
yeah.
taking it anywhere based on spawn. Glaive has the long spawn, so he's definitely going to be bringing his one over there. I mean, maybe he's just feeling comfortable enough. His position maybe not needing. I think he is going towards Ado, I believe, as well. So it's an interesting one. We'll see exactly what the approach is right now. Maybe boosting up towards short to get that early control. Also with the up over towards long, looking to just try and shut down any sort of area being taken over by Heretics early on around the A side of the map anyway, really wanting to limit them. Again though, nothing crazy from Heretics, just going back to that default. Having the 3 players around the B side, 2 of them working out through lower tunnels. The flash always coming over by, I believe, Kiyoshima to make sure that any of that short aggression won't be able to find an opening pick, for example, if there was a boost for the op. But they will find contact soon.
There's the switch back on the AWP for what it's worth. Glaive was just taking the AWP early for that long spawn you were talking about, and now he's giving it back to Device later in the round after the long spawn wasn't required. So it was just based on the spawn of Glaive. He will now have to carry over the UMP into his hands in this round as he plays in CT spawn. But Heretics, yeah, again, they've got this short control. They've got plenty of nades if they want to go for this execute onto A, which we see so many teams attempt. But they would have to deal with Device's AWP on this angle. And these are the sorts of positions you normally expect Device to be really good at. Just holding these angles on the A site. This is normally his bread and butter. And if Heretics run into him here, they're going to need some good nades to counter Device's AWP.
Yeah, the smoke's going down. We've seen this already from them a couple times. One on the boxes to allow them to cross over, but also allow them to actually take that fight on towards the player on ramp, giving them the angle. And again, just Device being forced back from this position, not really able to afford to actually stick around, instead backing off towards long. I mean, they can play for this retake, especially if they are to get a quick kill. But if they don't again, I feel like they're just forced into going for the save, and I believe that's what they've already called for, yeah. A 5-on-5, the save's already called for. 2 rounds now in a row where Astralis really had no choice other than to do that. The previous round it ended in it was the 4-on-4. This time no one dies.
If you can force Astralis to save in a 5v5, you've done something great in a round. That's all I'm saying. Because the nades there against Device were so well placed. He basically only had one place to go. He had to retreat into A long. Even though he gets this kill at the end here, Heretics win the round just outmaneuvering their opponents on that A bomb site. Really good work with all the pieces of utility. There were 3 Molotovs all over the site, so Device couldn't fight with the AWP. And now there's only one round in this game. Not the most exciting round, with only the one kill, which had no influence on the outcome of the round. But Heretics are just grinding out these round wins, and that's exactly what you have to do against a team like Astralis.
Yeah, no, overall, Heretics are looking really good, but this is their map choice. We have to remember that. We said overall the veto went pretty well for them. We were saying it was still going to be a struggle, but they're overall proving us wrong. The fact that they've lost both pistols, gone down heavily on both halves 4-0 before starting to actually pick up the gun rounds of their own, and have kept this so close. I mean, it's 11-10. If they take this round, Astralis' economy will be completely ruined unless, again, they're able to save over 5 players. Who knows? They'd have to save over at least a few, but nothing crazy. I mean, we're not seeing even quick long control coming in at the moment from Heretics. What's working is just taking a slow, getting this short control and then playing off of it. And so far, that's mostly been by just executing on towards that A bomb site and using their utility so well that the CTs aren't able to get themselves the kills and are forced to retreat back off, play for the retake. And when you have solo economy, playing for that retake is very risky. So a lot of times you do just see that save being called for. Oh, that nade though. Ooh. Second nade, I believe, as well. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. At least on towards 2 of the players. Actually, 3 of them. It was Navira brought to 21, 66, and then 65 for Kiyoshima and Maka, respectively. That is a really good start.
Look how scared Zipex is of this A site, though. Instead of playing CT, which he's generally been playing, he's making sure they have the rifle on the A site. And Glaive was thinking about rotating into CT spawn, but now he's playing on the A bomb site. 35 seconds left here, though. Heretics are looking over at A long. They are going to have to make sure this execute or this play is very well timed. Dupree's got the AWP holding this angle as well. This could be difficult to deal with. Astralis have held their nades. This could be the counter to the execute that Heretics have been running. 20 seconds, and they still aren't out A long. Finally, they're making their move, but this has to be so fast.
This is pretty much done, if I'm being honest. Dupree even gets a collateral insult to injury. Zipex takes down that short push, and it's done. They have to back away. I really don't know if they had time to actually get that bomb onto the site, even if that collateral didn't come in. The bomb literally would have had to just ran up the carrier with the knife in hand and hope that there was no one around the bomb site. And obviously with 2 of them on short, they were going to be at least slightly delayed towards the ramp. So it really wasn't possible.
Yeah, I think that's Astralis as well, just realizing, let's just hold our nades for the late round then. That smoke at A long lasted so long that Heretics couldn't even get out into that position in time. So it looks like the adaptation from Astralis is there in full effect. They're holding their utility now for the late round to counter these slow plays that Heretics have been running. We'll see if Heretics go for a switch up. A bit of early mid-aggression might be the answer, although Kiyo's taken a nade for his troubles. Looks like he won't be able to get quite the aggression he was looking for, but again, the short control is going to go the way of Heretics.
Yeah, the nade not going to be thrown as of yet here from Zipex. Yeah, that double nade stack in the previous round was a big issue for them. This time they're all around this area, so if the nades were to come in again, a lot of damage likely would be dealt out, but I don't believe that's going to be the case for now anyway. They're going to wait to find a bit of contact. They do have mollies and such also to try and delay this push once it commences. So here we go. The smokes again going down. Heretics going back to what worked for them earlier on. But the nade is perfectly timed again. So much damage being dealt out before Heretics are even able to spot anyone. Zipex actually continuing to face this with the flash from Glaive. Nearly lined up 2 of them, but has instead just extended them into the 5-on-3 advantage. He's feeling pretty good about that right now. Smoke down. He doesn't really want to risk peeking around that and giving any openings back to Heretics, so they will at least concede the bomb plant. That's one positive for the T side to take from it. But they're just continuously being chipped away on, and Zipex again getting one through the smoke. And there it is. Cleaned up, only 1 kill from Kiyoshima throughout that round. 13-10, as Astralis seem like they are beginning to kind of resume normalities at this point.
Yeah, they figured out that game plan of Heretics continuing to go up short. The nades in this round were very, very impactful. And then I think they had a flash or 2 as well to slow down the Heretics push. So Heretics maybe being a bit too obvious with that same play now. It was successful earlier on, but I think they're going to have to show a bit more depth here on their T side if they're going to be able to come away with this victory. And from what I can remember, I don't think Heretics have tried a single round really on that B site so far on their T side. It's been all A.
All short or just long every now and again.
I've noticed that recently a lot of teams are very much focusing on the A site because you can get the bomb down pretty quickly, but Maka wins the opening fight against Dupree. That could be the opening pick that Heretics were looking for as they do go for some mid pressure.
Apologies, small technical issue there on my end, but I have returned. I came back just to see that nade again landing at the feet of a couple of players. They've covered some serious distance before we actually see Astralis finding contact. As I said, it doesn't really seem to matter because they've gone ahead and swung this one back around. Maka even getting caught in mid, dropping a smoke at his own feet, I believe, making things a little bit more difficult in that fight against Zipex, who does take him down. So Kiyoshima left alone in a 1-on-4. It looks like, again, Astralis, they do just get back to their winning ways here. And as we pointed out, this is the map choice of Heretics, so not the ideal position for them to be in right now. If they drop this, they're moving on to Inferno, which is a map that they're definitely capable of playing. I mean, as I said, getting Dust2, Inferno, and Nuke in this one is a good VO for Heretics, but against the Astralis, no matter which map you're on, it is going to be a difficult game. Kyoto, he could have a small chance if he took down the op here over on long, but Device taking a slightly different angle, just elevating himself up on the car instead to ensure he has that frag. So there it is, 14-10, only the second pause from Heretics throughout this game so far, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I think that the problem there for Heretics was that because that A play started to go against them, Astralis seemed very, very ready for a switch up over on that B site. Even though they only had 4 CTs to position across the map, they had 2 of them committed to the B bomb site. One man was in CT, ready to try and help on the mid to B split that eventually came through. So I think Astralis realized if Heretics A players stop working, this is the round where they'll probably switch it up. And I could feel that just by watching the game. I could feel that Heretics, it felt like, would probably try something different in that round. And Astralis clearly had the same idea. And now into this one, Heretics have got little room for error at this point. Full investment into this round, 14-10 behind. This is a round that they really have to win if they want a chance here on Dust2, at least in regulation. And Maka not pulling the trigger there. He got a couple of opportunities, but he's trying to see if he can look for this kill, which is not going to come his way.
Unfortunately not. It would have been a nice opening for Heretics to have to kick this round off. He's still trying to fight in towards middle, where for the moment I believe it's just an 8k challenge and really in the hands of Glaive, so he doesn't really want to be fighting that too aggressively, so I wouldn't imagine too many opportunities will be given over. Yeah, just leaving the 2 rifles. I think they are maybe expecting that mid push to come in here in this round. Again, a little bit of a change up for now though. Heretics actually focusing over towards long. That Molotov is so nicely timed. It actually does do a bit of damage, but most importantly gets them quite a bit of info about players being around that area. And Nate then follows up as well. I mean, this is not looking good. Heretics, again, before they're able to get moving forward, have been tagged up heavily onto a couple players.
Yeah, and it's just really frustrating for Heretics to deal with those deep nades, especially, because the Molotov completely flushed them out of it. Yeah, that
Zipex is 340 right now. I think that's only the half. I'm not sure if this actually... I know sometimes the servers were set at the halftime. I'm not sure if that was the case.
2-man setup. Zipex is waiting at the blue container. They're not going to clear this. Oh, they do. XMS just about gets it. Zipex was trying to play the trigger discipline there, and Device is in trouble. There's no way he gets away with anything from this position. Nevera runs him down, and Heretics should have a great chance in this round. Glaive is rotating over to try and hold the A site. And there are a couple of CTs here. 2 quick kills. Bomb drops on the A site, so they have to commit, and Glaive keeps on going. 3 massive kills from the bomb site. And just as it looks like Heretics have found the weakness, have found the way into the round, Astralis shut it down with the full-on rotation, and Maka is stuck saving an AWP. Oh no, the money's not going to be great for them.
No, and that was such a fun... Uh-oh. That's
basically
Maka
what I
giving
just
us an
said.
uh-oh. Yeah, pretty much. Stream sniping confirmed?
I'm in his head.
But he wasn't. Yeah, somehow you just knew. Oh, that's heartbreaking though. They had the 5-on-3. They had it so convincingly as well. I mean, as you said, Device, he couldn't do anything after Zipex went down. They were all just piling in on top of him in the pit. And he tried to connect the no-scope. It didn't work. If he had have, then that would have been spectacular. But sometimes you don't get that fortunate. But obviously, the round was in the end pulled back by Astralis. They, with that, have now reached map point. And Heretics on the verge of actually dropping their own map picker. The Spy haven't made it so competitive and haven't lost both of those pistol rounds in the final stretch here. It seems like Astralis have gone ahead and just resumed their winning ways. And ooh, this nade again. Little jump peek. 2 players. Maka down to 47. He's been so impactful as well. And Lucky on the Mach 10 dropped to 73. Every small bit of damage helps out massively. And we've seen that throughout the last couple of rounds.
Device is committed to this position on short because he's got a bit of assistance from Zipex behind him and from a potential nade which I think Glaive is about to deploy. Oh, shoulder spotted. Device lands the shot. And oh dear. Oh no. Okay, he's fine. Device gets away, even though he fluffed his Molotov. He's all good to go. He doesn't even take that much damage, and the nade does significant damage to Lucky. Heretics taking early damage, losing the opening fight of this round. Feels like everything is going against them here, but they need this round win. They need to do something special.
Something more than special. This is going to be a miracle at this point if they manage to recover this round, especially as Navera goes down. The Vice just can't be stopped. He's up to 3. I think he's a little angry that this was such a close game. Nearly gets the collateral to end it, but it looks like he might still have the ace potentially. Glaive, I think, is rushing in to see if he can maybe steal it away from him. They just want to win. That's all that matters. Zipix actually gets it through the edge of the smoke. Terrible teammate. Nah, that's it. That's the only thing. That's if there was anything you couldn't say about Astralis, you can't call any of them terrible teammates.